You're clearly a fan of anime.
Yes, I am. That is just looking around the room. I'm looking at this giant Gurren Lagann poster I've got right behind my door. And all the wigs right above my camera. So I'm a
Nice.
little bit of a fan of anime.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a weeb?
A weeb. I used to. I don't really identify with the term now because it's kind of just a short form for weeaboo, and I don't really agree with that for myself. But as just a casual like weeb meaning anime fan, then yes, I guess if that makes sense.
It does. I like that you actually said that. We never used the word weeb when I was coming up. I've always loved anime. My uncle is an anime fan, so like when I was introduced to it as a very young kid, like it didn't feel like anything different to me. I didn't know like you would get labels attached to you. The only real label we would get is otaku.
I know
And
otaku. I used to call myself an otaku.
I still call myself an otaku. My old email had otaku in it.
Oh my
I
god.
have resumes floating out there with otaku on it. That's embarrassing. But yeah, it's interesting how far the community has come. I want to talk to you a little bit about how you got into anime and manga and what you're currently reading and watching.
Ooh, okay. How I got into anime. I think I was really young when I first got exposed to it, but I wasn't really aware what I was watching was anime. I was just a kid who was like, "Oh, Pokemon's great. I love Pokemon." And I played the games and I collected the cards and I was really into Pokemon, but I never really considered myself an anime fan because I didn't really know what anime was. I watched Ghibli films when I was young and like especially Secret Life of Arietti and I didn't know it was anime. I just thought, ooh, pretty colors, pretty characters, pretty animation. And then as I grew up, my a few of my friends were really into Oron High School Host Club, and that I
Nice.
consider my first anime. I consider it my first anime because I sat down uh, and I think it was just when Netflix came out, or it was around that time, and it was on it, or I watched it online, either or. But I'm pretty sure it was at the start of Netflix, and I watched it there, and from that point on, I just gobbled up anime. I was obsessed with it. I was possessed. I watched Attack on Titan around that time when it first came out. Other animes, Black Butler. I was never the biggest Black Butler fan, but I did watch it. Um, I'm trying to remember all the animes that I watched throughout middle school and that time period. But there was a lot. I have in my anime list account somewhere, but I haven't updated it in a while. But what I'm watching now, well, I've actually just been swamped with college application season. So I've actually been knocked off my anime watching game for a bit. What I do enjoy very much at the moment is The Great Pretender on Netflix. Ugh, it's so good. I am on season two. There are two seasons, and the character design, the soundtrack, which is all jazz, and the animation is just so good. I seriously recommend it to anyone. It's just enjoyable for everyone at pretty much every age, I think. Except wait, there's some good amount of violence in there. Maybe not every age.
It's okay. I was watching Cowboy Bebop when I was a kid, so
Oh, I love Cowboy Bebop.
I really like that Netflix came out and has shown so many people so many different anime. When I was younger, me and my friends would talk about the reruns of Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Seed and Witch Hunter Robin and all of those other series. And, it was fun. We didn't know any better, but we would always be waiting for like the fan subs of like whatever the new hot series was, like Code Geass or Gundam Seed Destiny. And I think when streaming services became the norm and we were getting all of those animes, that's kind of what contributed to the mainstream boom.
Yeah, I would definitely agree because it just made it so much more accessible for pretty much anyone who has access to the internet. You're able to watch anime because it would be on YouTube, it would be on illegal streaming sites, it would be everywhere, so you could watch it if you really wanted to.
You mentioned Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
Any other older shows that you appreciate? You might be
Oh,
able to.
Yeah, my favorite show, I could talk about it for hours. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
All
So
right.
good.
All
So
right.
good.
That's
I
amazing.
cosplay Asuka.
I saw. Amazing. Really good work. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
I'm gonna have your some of your cosplay images popping up on this,
Oh,
so
awesome.
we'll be able to appreciate what you do. But
Oh, thank you.
um is Asuka best girl?
Is Asuka best girl?
I don't know.
Actually, the correct answer is Misato is best girl.
Oh wow.
Definitely. I will not tolerate the Rey versus Asuka debate. It's just Misato.
That was a huge thing back in
I
the day.
know.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
What about manga?
Manga. Gotta look at my manga shelf.
You have a
My
manga shelf.
It's right there. It's pretty small.
Wow.
But from the looks of it, I used to be really into the Attack on Titan manga, but I fell off that a few years back.
We all did.
And except it seems to be surging in popularity right now, because it just ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was really into my favorite manga is Assassination Classroom, which I have to say is the only manga I've pretty much read the whole way through. I have not. I normally buy a few volumes and then I never look at them again. But I actually kept up with that one, and I'm also keeping up with a really popular show right now that I was really into a few years back, and then I picked it up again recently. I'm just reading the recent chapters. I kind of just missed like 20 volumes, but My Hero Academia.
Okay, I want to talk to you about My Hero.
Oh, I could talk about the recent updates of My Hero forever.
I actually dropped the series.
Oh, you know what? Actually, so did I, but I only picked it up again for two characters.
Really? Who are the
Yeah,
characters?
Dobby and Hawks.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I love them so much. I could write essays on him. I actually did write an essay on Dobby for my philosophy class.
No way.
No, I literally did like a few weeks ago.
Wow. That's
Yeah, commitment.
okay. Wow. I had a Shaman King presentation back in grade school, and I got a C.
Oh no, I got like a 93 on this essay about Dobby.
See, this is what I mean. This is like the acceptance. I'm sure your teacher was like grading and like, oh my god, this is an incredible paper.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I did him justice. It
Nice.
was all about the philosophy of his upbringing and whether he could whether it was all about the philosophy of his backstory and whether there's truly a moral good or bad in that situation.
Okay.
So yeah, philosophy stuff.
Nice. Well, anime characters are a lot more complex today than back in the day. But yeah, so My Hero is such a popular series.
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I don't like I like it. It's not a bad
It's okay.
series.
It's okay. I actually am not the biggest fan of it either. I only keep up with it for, as I said, two characters. So feel free to criticize it as much as you want.
Thank you for giving me permission to do that. Okay, great. I do like My Hero. I like how it takes a lot of the shonen tropes and it perfects them. But I also feel that everything that I've seen about My Hero that people like, I've read in other series done much better. And I also I feel that same way with Jujutsu Kaisen. I do not
I
like
haven't watched it. I have not watched it. Everyone's telling me to. I don't have the time right now. I probably will later.
yeah, like watch it. I think it's actually one of the few animes where they improve on the manga with the pacing. So I would
Hmm.
recommend the anime over the manga. But I don't like these series. I feel like everything that I'm reading is it's quite clear that the mangakas were fans of the same series that I was a fan of coming up, and they're just taking elements from all of those popular long running series and putting it into their own without offering it any real identity, which isn't always fair to say because I believe all art is inspired by something else, but I feel like the influences are being worn on the sleeves so easily. What about My Hero do you like aside from the two characters? Because I also know My Hero cosplay is extremely popular.
Yeah, I was so into My Hero cosplay. Honestly, I would just say overall the character design. Just I'm an artist, so an art standpoint, I just think especially in the manga. Just the designs of the characters seems to be really, really good. I liked it a lot. It's very nice to look at and intriguing. I found myself when I was in the peak of My Hero Academia phase, I would like be designing my own hero suits because I was so inspired by what they were all looking like. Certain elements of the character design I wasn't a huge fan of. Like, why did Momo, a 16-year-old, have to have a giant cutout on her boobs? I didn't get that when she could have just had any other visible area of skin for her quirk to work. But that's just the way it was. But that's a good question. I just think it's enjoyable, frankly. When I did watch it, that's what I thought. I just thought it was something that really kept me like excited. I would wait all night for the next season to drop. And it gave me that feeling of like anticipation it's not unique to My Hero, but it's just a sign of a decent show. Also, it's got some pretty cool animation, so that never hurts.
Yes, that's true. Anime today looks better than ever before. I will.
Oh yeah.
Do you have the same sentiments towards AOT?
Attack on Titan. I have a complex relationship with Attack on Titan, and I don't feel as if I would be able to accurately make judgments on it because I haven't watched the anime in years. Okay. But when I did watch it, which was back when it first came out, I liked it a lot. But I wasn't really analyzing it through a critical anime fan gaze. It was like a newcomer's, wow, this is so cool kind of gaze. So I don't think I could make any really valid critique of Attack on Titan beyond some of my own personal biases.
Okay, that's fine. That's a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah, I just don't want to speak on anything that I know I'm just going to be talking out of my ass. So,
what about Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer, I am not up to date. As I said, I have been swamped in college applications, so I haven't been watching a ton of anime recently. But I did watch the first, up until Mitsuri was introduced, because that's as far as I got. And I think it's great. As I said, the animation is beautiful. I love Bryce Papenbrook as a voice actor. So hearing him as Inosuke was really nice, because even though a lot of his voices sound very, very similar, it's always nice to hear. And I just love the creativity that comes along with the Demon Slayer fandom. Like, I've seen so many beautiful photo shoots done and amazing cosplays, and the Demon Slayer fandom actually seems a little put together as far as I can see. I've only dipped my toes into it, but it's not as much of a like flaming garbage pile as some other fandoms I know.
Yeah, I love Demon Slayer. I have the Tanjiro's earrings.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was totally worth buying them for like $4 online and them eating away at my skin. But aside from that,
cheap earrings. I get that.
Yeah, I like a lot of the new series that are coming out, but like you mentioned, they're very put together with the fan bases. I feel that those that don't have the put together fan bases kind of detracts from what the series is about, which is why sometimes I don't like AOT, because I like, especially with every episode coming out, Twitter goes aflame with someone complaining about the animation or someone's complaining about the story or the direction. I understand like Promised Neverland, the questionable choices they made with season 2, but like just seeing how anime fans today react and the way they'll like utter death threats to anyone who cosplays a certain character for a series they don't like to me, that's so confusing. How could you project your negative energy towards someone that clearly loves this series?
I personally think we're living in a digital age right now, an age of social media. And the thing is, when you have access to letting your thoughts go out into the world with very little negative consequence possible, people tend to get a little trigger happy. So when you're watching something and something doesn't sit right with you, the first thing people seem to do is tweet about it or make a post or complain about it on Reddit. And that just spews so much more negativity into the anime spaces, because it used to just be we would go to conventions and talk about what we love and maybe critique some other things. And that would pretty much be where most of the discussion is, besides where you were talking with some older sites and YouTube when it first came out, and comment sections, forums, etc. And like early social media. But now that everything is social media based, people can't really keep their thoughts to themselves anymore. So there's a lot more negativity being put out onto the web, and it really can put a stain on an anime, especially a new anime fans' experience of like the anime world.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know when it started. Like, I want to say that Sword Art Online,
Yeah.
like I shit on Sword Art too, but I really cannot accept the fact that if you like Sword Art, all of these years later, people will still get at you for it. And even like Anitubers, they use it as a punching bag. And it's like, at a certain point, you just have to like understand, like, people are going to like what they like, you know? Like,
Yeah.
let them like what they like.
Honestly, I was actually talking about this in philosophy class today. There is a difference between what is good and what you like, and that there's a balance with it. One of them is not necessarily more important than the other. Something can be good and you don't have to like it, and something you can like doesn't have to be good. It doesn't always need to overlap all the time, and there's no shame in having that balance.
Preach.